Have you ever wondered how video game prices are decided? Video game prices are typically decided by the publisher or developer of the game in consultation with retailers and distributors. The pricing strategy can vary depending on several factors, including the type of game, the platform it's released on, the target audience, and the production and marketing costs involved. Here, I'll talk about 10 major reasons that go into pricing decisions. The first reason is the cost of developing a video game can vary widely depending on the size and complexity of the game, the platform it's being developed for, and the resources and talent required to create it. For larger studios, the cost of developing a game can be significant as they typically invest in high-quality graphics, voice acting, and complex gameplay mechanics to create a compelling gaming experience. For example, a high-budget game developed by a large studio can cost tens of millions of dollars or more to develop and may take several years to complete. The development costs can include salaries and benefits for hundreds of developers, designers, and artists, as well as the cost of tools and software used in the development process. In addition to the direct development costs, there are also indirect costs that can impact the final price of the game. These can include advertising to generate awareness and interest in the game, as well as distribution and licensing fees to release the game on various platforms. Publishers must balance the investment required to create a high-quality game with the price point that consumers are willing to pay for it. If the development costs are too high, the price of the game may need to be increased to ensure profitability, which can impact sales and consumer interest. The second reason is marketing and distribution costs. The cost of marketing and distribution can vary depending on the platform, region, and promotional strategy used by the publisher. Publishers often invest heavily in advertising and promotional campaigns to generate buzz and awareness around their new releases. These campaigns can include television ads, online ads, social media campaigns, and other forms of marketing to reach potential customers. The cost of these campaigns can be significant, especially for larger releases that require a high level of visibility to succeed. Cyberpunk 2077 had an estimated marketing budget of $175 to $200 million. In addition to marketing costs, publishers also need to consider the cost of distributing the game to retailers or online stores. For physical copies of the game, this can involve the cost of manufacturing and shipping the game to retail stores or distributors. For digital copies, there may be fees associated with selling the game on online stores such as Steam, Epic Games Store, or the console digital stores like PlayStation Network or Xbox Live. These costs can impact the overall price of the game, as publishers must balance the investment required to promote and distribute the game with a price point that consumers are willing to pay for it. If marketing and distribution costs are too high, the price of the game may need to be increased. The third reason is platform fees. When a video game is sold on a console or digital storefront like Steam or Epic Games Store, the platform owner takes a percentage of the revenue generated by the sale. This percentage can vary depending on the platform, but it typically ranges from 30% to 70% of the sale price of the game. The platform owner provides various services and infrastructure for the game publisher, such as hosting the game on their servers, providing payment processing, and promoting the game to potential buyers. In exchange for these services, the platform owner takes a cut of the revenue generated by the sale of the game. This revenue split can impact the final price of the game, as publishers must factor in the platform fees when determining the sale price of the game. For example, if a game is sold for $60 on a platform that takes a 30% revenue share, the publisher would receive $42 for each sale. If the publisher needs to generate a certain amount of revenue to cover the development and marketing costs of the game, they may need to adjust the sale price of the game to ensure profitability after the platform fees are considered. In addition to platform fees, publishers may also need to factor in other costs associated with selling games on specific platforms, such as certification fees for console releases or marketing expenses for digital storefronts. These costs can vary depending on the platform and can impact the final price of the game. The fourth reason is competition. Competition is a significant factor in the pricing strategy of video game publishers. When multiple games in the same genre or targeting the same audience are released around the same time, publishers may adjust their pricing strategy to stay competitive and maximize sales. One common strategy is to offer discounts or bundle deals to encourage players to buy their game instead of the competitors. For example, a publisher may offer a discount on their game for a limited time or bundle it with other games or DLC to create more value for the customer. By offering a lower price or better value than the competition, the publisher can incentivize players to choose their game over others in the same genre or targeting the same audience. Another pricing strategy is to offer premium editions or collector's editions of the game, which include additional content or physical items such as a map, art book, or figurine. These premium editions are typically priced higher than the standard edition of the game, but offer additional value to players who are interested in the extra content or collectibles. Remember the $180 Fallout 76 Power Edition. The fifth reason is the perceived value of a game can be a significant factor in its pricing strategy. Players are more likely to pay a higher price for a game that they perceive to offer a lot of content, replayability, or unique features than for a simpler, shorter game. For example, a game that offers a lengthy single-player campaign, multiple difficulty levels, and a deep crafting system may be perceived as having a higher value than a game that only offers a few hours of gameplay and limited replayability. The publisher of the first game may decide to price it higher than the second game to reflect its perceived value. Similarly, games with unique features or gameplay mechanics may also be priced higher than games that offer more generic gameplay. For example, a game that features advanced AI, destructible environments, or a unique art style may be perceived as offering a higher value than a game with more conventional gameplay mechanics. The publisher of the first game may decide to price it higher than the second game to reflect its perceived value. However, it's worth noting that the perceived value of a game can be subjective and influenced by factors such as personal preferences, previous experiences with similar games, and marketing efforts. What one player considers to be a game with high value may not be the same for another player. The perceived value of a game is an important consideration in its pricing strategy. By pricing games based on their perceived value, publishers can ensure that they are charging a fair price for the content and features that their game offers. The sixth reason that you may not have thought about if you're not American is regional pricing. Game prices can vary significantly depending on the region or country in which they are sold. This is because the cost of games can be affected by factors such as exchange rates, taxes, and differences in purchasing power between. In some regions, game publishers may adjust their prices to account for differences in purchasing power between countries. For example, a game that costs $60 in the United States may be priced lower in countries where the cost of living is lower, such as in developing countries. This allows game publishers to make their games more accessible and affordable to players in those regions, while still maintaining profitability. Taxes can also impact the price of games in different regions. Some countries have higher tax rates on digital goods, which can result in higher prices for digital game downloads. This can impact the final price of a game in a particular region, as publishers may need to adjust their pricing strategy to account for these taxes. Exchange rates can also affect game prices in different regions. If the exchange rate between two currencies changes, this can impact the cost of games for players in different regions. For example, if the value of the US dollar decreases relative to the Japanese yen, games that are priced at 6,000 yen in Japan may become more expensive for US players who must pay in dollars. The seventh reason is season sales. Many game publishers offer discounts or promotional deals during holidays or other seasonal events to increase sales and generate buzz around their games. These sales events can include discounts on the price of games, special in-game events, or exclusive content for players who purchase during the event. Holidays such as Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and Christmas are popular times for game publishers to offer discounts and promotional deals. During these times, players may be more likely to purchase games as gifts or take advantage of the discounts to buy games they've had their eye on. Other seasonal events such as Halloween, Valentine's Day, or the summer season may also be used as opportunities for game publishers to offer promotions and discounts. These events may be tied to in-game events or themed content that are only available for a limited time, creating a sense of urgency for players to purchase during the event. Promotions and discounts can be an effective way for game publishers to generate buzz around their games and increase sales. By offering limited-time promotions or exclusive content, publishers can create a sense of urgency for players to purchase, which can lead to increased sales and higher engagement with their games. Additionally, promotions and discounts can be a way for publishers to reward loyal players and encourage them to continue playing their games. For example, a publisher may offer exclusive content or discounts to players who have been playing their game for a certain amount of time or who have made previous purchases. Promotions and discounts are an important part of a game publisher's marketing strategy. By offering incentives to purchase during holidays and other seasonal events, publishers can boost sales and generate excitement around their games. The eighth reason is special editions. Publishers may release special editions of their games that include additional content or features, such as collector's items, exclusive in-game items, or physical items such as artbooks or soundtracks. These special editions are often priced higher than the standard edition, as they include additional content that is not available in the base game. For example, a special edition of a game may include a steel bookcase, a collector's artbook, a statue of a character from the game, and exclusive in-game content, such as skins or weapons. This special edition may be priced higher than the standard edition to reflect the additional physical and digital content included in the package. Similarly, publishers may offer DLC for their games, which can add new levels, characters, or other features to the game. This DLC is often priced separately from the base game and can range in price from a few dollars to the price of a full game. DLC can include a range of content, such as new single-player missions, multiplayer maps, or cosmetic items for in-game characters. Publishers may also release expansion packs, which are larger DLC packs that add significant content to the game, such as new storylines or game modes. The pricing strategy for DLC and special editions can vary depending on the publisher and the game. Some publishers may release DLC for free to reward players and encourage continued engagement with the game. Others may charge for DLC to generate additional revenue and offset the costs of developing and maintaining the game. Special editions and DLC are an important part of a publisher's strategy for generating additional revenue from their games. By offering additional content and features at a higher price point, publishers can cater to players who are willing to pay more for a premium experience, while also providing options for players who prefer to stick with the base game. The ninth reason is subscription models. Many game publishers now offer subscription services that allow players to access a library of games for a monthly or annual fee. These services can offer access to many games at a lower cost than buying each game individually, making them an attractive option for players who want to try out a variety of games without committing to purchasing each one. Subscription services can come in several different forms. Some publishers offer their own subscription services, which provide access to a library of their own games, while others partner with third-party services to provide access to games from multiple publishers. Examples of these services include Xbox Game Pass, PlayStation Now, EA Play, and Ubisoft Plus. One advantage of subscription services is that they can provide players with access to a wide range of games for a relatively low cost. This can be especially beneficial for players who enjoy playing a variety of games and don't want to spend a lot of money on individual game purchases. Additionally, subscription services can offer access to older games that may no longer be available for purchase, giving players a chance to try out games they may have missed when they were first released. Another advantage of subscription services is that they can provide a steady stream of revenue for publishers, as players pay a monthly or annual fee for access to the service. This can be especially beneficial for smaller publishers or indie developers who may struggle to generate consistent revenue from individual game sales. However, subscription services also have their limitations. Players may not always be interested in the games offered by a particular service and may not feel that the monthly fee is worth it if they only want to play one or two games. Additionally, some subscription services require an internet connection to access games, which may not be ideal for players with slower or less reliable internet connections. Subscription services are an important part of the gaming industry, offering players a convenient and cost-effective way to access a large library of games. As the popularity of these services continues to grow, it's likely that more publishers will begin to offer their own subscription services or partner with existing services to provide access to their games. The 10th reason is third-party sellers. In addition to buying games directly from publishers or official retailers, players can also purchase games from third-party sellers such as Amazon or GameStop. These third-party sellers may offer different prices or promotional deals than the original publisher, which can impact the overall pricing of games. One reason why third-party sellers may offer different prices is because they may purchase games in bulk from the publisher or distributor, allowing them to negotiate better prices. Additionally, third-party sellers may be more flexible in their pricing strategies, as they are not bound by the same pricing policies as the original publisher or retailer. For example, a third-party seller may offer a discount on a game that is not currently on sale through the official publisher or retailer. Alternatively, a third-party seller may offer a bundled deal that includes multiple games or additional accessories, which can impact the overall pricing of games. However, there are some risks associated with buying games from third-party sellers. In some cases, the games sold by third-party sellers may be counterfeit or otherwise illegitimate, which can result in players receiving a lower quality product than they expected. Additionally, some third-party sellers may not offer the same level of customer support or return policies as the official publisher or retailer, making it more difficult for players to resolve any issues that may arise. Third-party sellers can play a role in impacting the pricing of games, as they may offer different prices or promotional deals than the original publisher or retailer. However, players should exercise caution when purchasing games from third-party sellers and be sure to do their research to ensure they are purchasing a legitimate product. On a side note, $60 has still been an unchanging benchmark from quite some time. While the cost of developing games has indeed increased over time, the standard price of games has not risen proportionately. This is because the video game industry is a highly competitive market and game publishers must balance the need to make a profit with a desire to keep prices competitive. The $60 price point has become something of an industry standard, with many players viewing it as a fair price for a new game release. Increasing the price of a game beyond this point may make it less appealing to consumers and could result in lower sales and revenue for the publisher. Moreover, as the gaming industry has evolved, publishers have found new ways to generate revenue beyond the initial sale of the game. For example, publishers can offer downloadable content, expansion packs, and other add-ons that players can purchase separately. They can also offer special editions of the game that come with additional content or physical items. These strategies allow publishers to generate additional revenue without raising the base price of the game. $60 is your ticket into the game, with the expectations you'll spend a lot more later. Additionally, the rise of digital distribution platforms like Steam, Epic Games Store, and GOG has also changed the pricing landscape for games. Digital distribution allows publishers to reduce the costs associated with producing and shipping physical copies of the game, which can result in lower prices for consumers. These platforms also allow for more frequent and varied sales and promotions, which can make games more affordable for consumers. While the cost of developing games has increased, the standard price of games has remained relatively stable due to the competitive nature of the market and the availability of other revenue streams beyond the initial sale of the game. The price alone doesn't decide how ultimately successful a game will end up being. There are plenty of free games that make absurd amounts of money. Ever wonder what some of the most financially successful games of all time are? To find out, click on the next video.